Hey guys, might have to get out my pole and see if I can catch a trout. But before I do that, I wanted to talk about a topic I think is important. I've been watching a lot of videos about so many of these young women that are homeless and they're addicted to drugs and they live on the street. They sell themselves for money. It is such a shame. Such a shame. And I wanted to talk about my experience. And because I can't tell other people how to live, I'm going to talk about how I get by. Because maybe this video will help somebody. I wrote down some notes. What helped me survive in my life was to not fall victim to what the world can throw at you and the kind of life, the path it can lead you down. Is something very, very simple. And I know that if I could do something like this, anybody could. And the most important thing that I've ever done in my life is invest in my own security. What do I mean by investing in my own security? Is that every choice that I made, my choices were to improve all my tomorrows. Tomorrow isn't promised to anybody, but you have to live your life as if it is. Because we don't know how many tomorrows we will have, but there could be many. There could be years worth of tomorrows. And so what I do is I invest in my security. And when people think about security, lots of different things come to mind. Like some people carry a firearm for security. Some people add more locks to their door for security. And those are all good things for security. But what you want to really invest in is your future security. How to go about this is by being a very good manager with money. No matter how little the money you have, you want to be able to manage your money so you can survive. Money is the key to a lot of things in this life. You also want to live as simple as you possibly can and as inexpensively as you can. Keep your cost of living way down. I keep my living as low as I possibly can, and I forego the things that are not important in life. I do not ever fall victim to debt. I stay away from credit cards. I don't borrow money. I don't do anything that's going to rack up interest. I stay away from all of that stuff. That's all work of the devil. That's one thing that will help destroy you. Don't live in a dangerous area. If you live in an unsafe neighborhood, get out of there. Live somewhere where you can live peacefully and people will leave you alone. And that also helps in your own personal security. I left the city because there was a lot of crime. I had vandalism done to my vehicle at the time. Somebody smashed all the windows out. People would steal from my car. People would steal things out of my yard. I left the city and I moved way out to the country, just like this. And now I don't have to worry about those things, on-street parking and all that. I have my own driveway and I live in a safe area. Don't waste your money on needless things. For instance, at my house, I don't waste my money on TV service like Dish Network or cable. I got rid of my television service 9 years ago and I've never missed it. Don't spend your money on drugs and alcohol. These are financial drainers. They're also life drainers. Alcohol and drugs will absolutely destroy your life. You know, a lot of these young women on the streets, all throughout America, will get into prostitution. And these girls are independent and they don't have a pimp or anything like that, but they make between $300 and $700 a day going on what they call dates with men. That's a horrible, horrible way to live. But as long as that's the choice they're making and they're making this kind of money, they could take that money and that money could get them out of their lifestyle. It could literally save their life. If they would just be responsible with the money instead of putting it back into drugs and investing back into the things on the street that are killing themselves, they could take that money and get themselves out of that situation. But for whatever reason, they don't. Also, eliminate bad relationships. A lot of these young women have street boyfriends that keep them in that situation. They help them stay on their drugs because their boyfriends are drug addicts as well. So just know that. I've done all these things and I've always made sure that I've had at least a year's worth of food. I just recently deposited a year and a half worth of rent in the bank, totaling $9,000. I just put that in the bank. That's income I've earned off my YouTube channel. This is another reason right here, watching this video, my channel is another thing that is my investment into my security. By the money I make on my YouTube channel, it helps me afford more things and to be able to have savings and put stuff aside. Money for food, money for HBAs, money for bills, money for auto insurance, money to take care of this van. You know, I just got an email from the state of New York saying that my state inspection is up at the end of this month, which is good that they let me know so I don't forget. And so I called the garage today and I just made the appointment for next Tuesday morning to get the van inspected. It's also about being responsible. Anybody watching this video, if you don't live your life responsibly, none of this information is going to help you. None of this advice is going to work at all for you at all. You have to want to be responsible. But there's so many things that you can do with money that can change your life. I know it did for me. And it was all just going through these practices of being able to take whatever money that I can earn, whether if it was through flipping things, doing odd jobs, doing side landscape jobs with my own pickup truck, doing YouTube, earning revenue from Google AdSense, anytime I can get extra money, because I have my minimum that I live on per month. And that always gets set aside first. So my rent's always paid, my bills are paid electronically, online, I do it electronically. They're paid the same day that I get the notice that they're due. And whatever money I have left over for the month, I bank it, because that pays me for the tomorrows that I have yet coming. That gives me the security to know that I have 1.5 years worth of rent put aside. I have a year's worth of food saved up. I always keep a full tank of gas in this van at all times, 24/7. If it drops down a quarter of a tank, I stop to a station and I top it right off again, so it's past the full mark. Investing in your own personal security. So it comes in the way of finances, it comes in the way of the type of neighborhood and the location of where you live. It comes in the way of relationships and the people you are around, whether it be friends, family, a spouse. Don't be around toxic people that drag you down, and don't be around people that are drinkers and druggers, because they're going to only try to get you into your habit. And you don't need that temptation. Stay away from people that are going down that road. If you really want to be free of the things in life that will destroy you, you got to be very conscious about the people that you're around, the type of habits they do, if they're a good influence, a bad influence. Personal security also comes with seeing to it that you've got what you need in your home and that your home is protected. I have surveillance cameras all the way around my house. I have expanded metal over some of the windows where someone could climb into my house, and I have deadbolts on my doors. Even though I live in the country, I still live as though I live in the middle of a rough neighborhood. That's personal security. So that way I can see what's going on at my house through cameras. So it's about protecting yourself, making sure you've got clothing, food, savings, a roof over your head, a vehicle to drive, keeping on your feet, being responsible, taking care of yourself, and don't fall in victim to bad choices. Stay away from bad choices. Think about yourself. You are worth it. Take care of yourself and do all that you can do to improve your life. If you want it bad enough, you will do it. These people that just make their money and stay on the streets homeless and do drugs day after day, 7 days a week, sometimes I wonder if there's any hope for these people, because they just haven't made the choice yet to stop. They haven't made the choice to get help. You know, if half of these women, these young women, middle-aged women, older women, all ages, out there on the street, prostituting themselves, doing drugs, all different types of street drugs, drinking alcohol, hanging out with all the wrong people, living in dangerous neighborhoods, if just half of these women sought out a guy like myself that would treat them good, be kind to them, love them, take care of them, and be responsible, that way of life that they're dwelling in could end in a heartbeat. But so many of them don't want that, unfortunately, and I'll never understand that. Why these women, they shouldn't have any problem finding a good guy that will take care of them. But they keep themselves in the situation they're in for reasons only they understand. And I'm not judging them. They've got problems. A lot of it is mental problems. But they don't know the kind of life that is out there that they otherwise could have. Because there are guys out there like myself that would take care of them and give them a good life. But so many of them don't want that. You know, there's always ways to help yourself. So that's how I do it, just to recap, is that I live simple. I keep my cost of living as low as humanly possible. I'm not foolish with money. I don't live in a dangerous area. I don't waste my money on needless things. I invest in personal protection. I eliminate bad relationships. I avoid financial drainers, like I said, cable, club membership, warranties, drugs, alcohol. Don't waste your money on that stuff. And avoid debt at all costs. Be responsible. If you do these things, and you save whatever money that you make, and you learn how to double it and triple it, which is very easy to do. It's not as hard as people think. It's very, very simple to do. I did it for several years, and I continue to do it. There's always ways to turn 500 into 1,000, 1,000 into 2, 2 into 4, and so on. You can even have a YouTube channel and make money on your YouTube channel like I do, which afforded me to put $9,000 in the bank just from talking to a camera. There's lots of ways, you guys, to where you can keep your head above water, because they say in the comment section that most people are one paycheck away from the street. And though that is true, that if you don't live from paycheck to paycheck, you need to get out of that lifestyle. And you do it by eliminating these things that I'm talking about. When you eliminate these things that I talked about, you no longer live paycheck to paycheck. It now affords you to have the money to be able to sleep at night, to not worry, to not have the depression, to not have the anxiety of how you're going to pay for this and how you're going to pay for that. It's not as hard as you think. Once you get over that line, you keep going. And this is what covers you for the next 3 months, next 6 months, next year, next 2 years. This is what I do, and this is what I keep doing. So if I get a year covered, then I don't just stop there. I say, okay, I got a year covered. Now I'm going to work on the second year, and I'm going to cover that year, and I keep going, so I can say that if all my income stopped, I could live for 2 years before I would have to worry about where my next dollar is coming from. This is paying your life in advance. This is investing in your security. So if you guys really think about it, it all comes down to choices and responsibility. Making the right choices and being responsible about it. Not falling victim to these things, because there's lots of things out there that can destroy you, that can wreck your life, ruin your life. You've got to be able to identify it, see it for what it is, and avoid it at all costs. and you got to walk the straight and narrow. It's not always easy, but I've been doing it for years, and now I can financially take care of myself pretty damn good. I lack for nothing. I have money 24/7 to where I could buy anything that I want. And because I don't want anything, I just continue to dump my money in the bank and just dump it in the bank because there's nothing that I want. God has provided me with everything that I need because He knows that I'm trying and that I've made the right choices and that I've been responsible with my life and that I got myself out from being homeless. I got myself out of places, bad neighborhoods that I lived in. I got rid of people that were toxic. I stopped hanging around people that were bad influences. And when God sees that you're trying to improve your life, He gives you a helping hand and makes it a lot easier to get there. This is all you have to do. You have to write down your goals. You have to write down your dreams. You have to write down what it is you want to do in your life and where you want to be. And if you follow it like a Bible, you will get there, and you'll get there much sooner than you think. There's always a way. There's always a way. You just have to be disciplined to do it. You just have to be disciplined to do it. Because eventually, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get so tired of living the way that you do, it's going to force you to take a different path. And once you take a different path and you see that there are other ways to make it, because it's not just cut and dry one way, there's other ways to make it. This country is full of opportunity. You have to be able to know those opportunities and seek them out and make them work for you, just like I have. As long as you do that, you will set yourself up in a much better life. You'll be much happier. You'll be much safer. You'll be more content. And you will wish you did it years ago. Years ago. So that's my advice for you guys today. I'm going to get out my fishing pole, and I'm going to see if I can catch a trout down here. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.